welcome to my home studio,
Mhm.
or part of my studio. And how are you guys? How's your day been?
It's been
Good?
great. We've had a lot of really fun activities, a lot of people joining us, and people have been putting things in the chat, like questions and comments and different ideas. So we're
Okay,
excited to do another activity.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is the lighting is better than the other day?
Looks
yeah, we
good.
can. Wait.
It's better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So hi, we are going to today focus, so a lot of the activities that I like to do with the museum, I like to think about feelings and look at our emotions and think about love, especially that's a big theme of my own artwork, but also artwork that I like to create with our students at the museum as well as our programs. So today I like to do an artist warm-up. So I'm going to ask you, you can stand up if you want to. I'm going to stay sitting down, but I like to just start. We're going to start with your hands. So if you just want to relax, and we're just going to shake. And this is just warming up our fingers, so we're ready to draw. So you can go side to side. You can go up and down. Let me just move this so you see both. Going on, good. All right, and then so you want to take your hands together, and then we're going to stretch them out. Get your fingers nice and stretched. Good, bring them in, good. And then let's go up and take a deep breath in. You know, there's been a lot, even for me, it's like hard to take a breath. So just keep your hands up and take a deep breath in. You can close your eyes if you want to, and just relax. And you're going to bring your hands down. And let's just bring them down, almost like a prayer. It's going to look like we're praying. We got to put it in front of our heart. Good. Now, I want you guys to touch your heart. So we're actually going to touch our hearts. And let's take a moment and let's just close our eyes. And today we're focusing on sending out love, receiving love, and especially on what's going on all around the world today and over the last few months. It's really important just to take a moment. So you're thinking about, I want you to say to yourself, and you can say it out loud. So I send love to myself. So just say that, or you can think that. So I send love to myself. I send love to you. So you can repeat after me. So I send love to you.
Love to you.
Take a deep breath in, nice and relaxing. And I send love to everybody in the world.
I send love to everyone in the world.
And then I also thought about this too. So I thought I send love to we. So thinking about we as everybody in the world. So I send love to we.
I send love to we.
All right. So you're going to gently, if you have closed your eyes, gently open your eyes, take your hand off your heart, and just feel what that's like. Good. So in that moment too, so I want you, if we can, I'm going to ask you actually to go get materials if you don't have materials right now. So we're going to start off with, I'd like you to grab a paper. If you can grab a paper, you could grab a marker. If you wanted to grab a marker, you could also grab a pencil. And so I like to do also part of this artist warm-up is just generating this idea. Some people might call it research, it's process, however you want to call it. So on your piece of paper, so let me give you guys a moment to go find paper if you don't have paper or if you don't have a pencil.
I'm gonna go grab another marker, and maybe while I'm doing that, if you want to take the next few moments and just introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. So my name is Kathleena, and also Lady K Fever. I'm an artist. I was originally born in Canada, and I moved to New York almost 16 years ago as an artist and as a journalist, and I do graffiti. I'm a photographer, and I've lived in the Bronx for the last 16 years. So, and I've also worked at the museum for the last 15 years, and it's been an amazing journey of just exploring and getting to really enjoy making my own work. So a lot of my work is out on the streets in the Bronx as well as around New York City, but also being able to make work with all the people that come to the museum and the schools and our partnerships has been amazing. So I'm wondering, I'm just waiting for, you're good, you have materials? So I guess give me, maybe in the chat if everybody wants to let me know, or if you guys want to let me know that everyone's ready to go. for the next step?
I just shared a video in the chat. If anyone wants to check it out, it's a little video about Lady K. So if you want to learn more about Lady K's work as an artist and as an educator, check out that link when you have a time. But yes, I have my materials too.
Materials. Okay, good. So we're gonna move on to the next step. So on this piece of paper, I would like you to draw a heart. And you can use your pencil, you can use your marker. I'm gonna do it on my table first because I'm more comfortable like that, but I also am gonna do it here. And so I want you, so with that heart, once you have drawn that heart, if you notice there's space around the heart, and then there's also space inside the heart, right? And so today what I want to think about is I want you to write the 3 things when you think about love, and when we're just doing the exercise before, what came up for you. And it can be abstract. It could be like, I'm gonna write down blue, because as I'm saying this, like the color blue is coming to me, so I'm just gonna go with it. And so maybe you want to think of another word that makes you think about love. So I'm putting down hope, but this can also be in whatever language that you speak and that you're comfortable with. So fill your heart up with 3 or 4 things. And this is just, again, we're going to put this aside once we get into our activity, but we're going to come back to this as we work through. So I put down blue, I put down hope. I feel like I'm going to put down family. And then I'm going to put down a cat, because I have a cat and she's sleeping right next to me. So, so whatever comes up for you, however you want to imagine this, and this becomes kind of like, you don't have to use this, it almost becomes like this way to refer back as we get into this. So you have filled in your heart. If you want to just, I don't know if you guys want to hold them up, show them. Yay, awesome. So now what you're going to do, the second part of our activity is, if you've noticed up here, so heart of the matter is the activity, and I'm just thinking about, I made these samples, and what I've done, similar to Edwin's activity that was previous to this, I've made a stencil. And so what we are working on is making heart stencils. And this is just a really easy way to get into making stencil making and having fun with this activity. And so I've done one with markers and I've done one with watercolor paint. So I'm gonna do 2 different samples. I've also have food coloring, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. So what I wanna do first is we're gonna hold up our paper. Now I want you to fold it in half. All right, so you have it folded in half.
Am I folding it in half? Does it matter where the heart that I drew is as I fold it, or no?
Oh no, so that's it. You can do it, well, you can fold it on a separate piece of paper. So you don't have to use that. So I should be clear about that. So with this piece of paper with the heart, we're gonna take that and set it aside. Yeah, and so we have a new piece of paper, and it's this. So we're going to draw half a heart onto it, and it can be big, small. So you want it to look like this. So you're drawing almost like I don't have the other half. Oh. So we have in here, yep. And so then we're gonna fold it back up. And I guess I should have asked people to go get scissors. I'm laughing. Okay, so if you do not have them.
We can give them a moment if you don't have scissors.
So I'm gonna give you guys a moment. I'm ahead of myself, so if you can, go get a pair of scissors. And at that moment too, I'm gonna ask you to get paints and other markers, so then we can just keep going with this activity. So let me give you guys a minute to do that. Any questions that are being asked that maybe I need to answer?
Yeah, so if anybody has questions so far, feel free to, again, put them in the chat or ask them through the Q&A function. I'm gonna ask you, Kathleena, so what we're gonna need are scissors, and I am guessing we're gonna be cutting this out, but then anything to kind of color?
Yeah, so what I guess as we're waiting, I'll show you. So I've made one. So this is the cutout. We have a cutout of the half, and then making it into the heart. And then what I've done with it is that I put it onto paper and I've traced with marker, with watercolor, with paint inside the heart. And so we're gonna get into that. But what we're doing right now is we're making the stencil, which is the template to make the heart.
But if we have paint, we should get it now. If we have some other sort of materials like that, we should get those too. Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to get paint, if you want to get markers, I also use food coloring. I think that's really fun.
What about pastels? I have pastels.
Pastels are great. Anything that makes color. You could even use pencil. I'm not using pencil today, or like charcoal, any kind of things. So when you have gotten all your materials, we have our heart, our half heart. And so if you are not comfortable with scissors, please ask an adult to help you. What you are going to do is you're now going to cut on this solid line. So I'm going to cut on this solid line. And let's get it. So I'm going to cut. I'm not as fancy as Edwin, where I can cut backwards. So I'm cutting it out. Yeah. So you want to have, not the donut hole, you want to have the donut. Yes. So this becomes your stencil. And what you're going to do, so we talked about love. On another piece of paper, you are going to take this stencil and you're going to place it, and now I'm going to move this one. I'm going to do this up on the wall, but if you're more comfortable doing it on a table, that's fine. So let me put that up. Any questions? Everyone's good cutting it out?
Everyone's good so far, I think. So we have our heart stencil.
Yeah, so you have your heart stencil, and then we're going to be putting I have my blank paper. And what's fun too is that you can take this activity to a t-shirt if you have acrylic paint or fabric kind of paint. So with your heart stencil, I'm gonna do it with black Sharpie to start with, so then you guys can really see it. And I'll do it two different ways. So most times when we start doing stencils, we're gonna just wanna trace. And because it's paper, it's kind of harder to trace. And this is why that as you trace, if you're really good at it, you can catch the edge. But if not, just start to fill it in. And you will feel the edge of the stencil. So don't worry about making it messy or however. But you're going to, as you can see, I'm going over the edge. This is where you can actually color over the edges, color outside the lines. And then there's what's left is this heart. And let's see, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got sunshine coming in my window. It's like so fun. Let me see if I can fix that.
We can see okay if you can't.
Is that better? Does that make it better?
It's good.
Okay.
So here, Patrick and I also use
Okay, that's a little bit better, right? That's better. Yeah, nice, nice. So there's, you can see.
Yeah.
And so it does not have to be messy like this. It can be lots of lines, and you can actually take your time. So I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to take my time and do a different pattern.
So we should just, okay.
Well, you can choose to do, I like how Patrick's doing it on the floor. You can do it. It's kind of however you want to do it now. What was your question now?
I'm going to ask, so we're using the same paper in the stencil to do another heart?
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're taking the same stencil and you're almost repeating it. And so you can go on top.
Oh,
you
okay, so we can overlap
the paper.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does not have to be, and so with this one too, I would say play with this one first. And then if you want, we'll make another one where you are actually thinking more intentionally about what, because I feel like it's important to make them mistakes first. It's important to kind of play and go outside the box and then refine it back.
Also, and maybe this is because you have the multiple ones in the background. So we made this stencil so we can sort of experiment with the paper that we're on now, but then we can also use this stencil on other papers. And we have a question. So Kathleena, Penny wants to know, can you make different sizes of stencils?
You can. So that's funny. So I have another one so I'm actually going to make another one. Let's do another one together. That's actually, so do they want a small one maybe or a bigger one?
Well, which are you gonna make? So yeah, if you're making a different size and maybe you already had a smaller or bigger one than Kathleena made for her first one, so just pick a shape, one that's gonna be different.
So I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna do some tiny ones. So sometimes too, you can play around with, I'm gonna fold the paper here. So I've done a really, really tiny one. You can see that. And then I'm gonna come a little bit further down on the paper. So I'm making 2 tinier ones. And this is what's fun too, is that I'm gonna take these tiny ones and actually layer them in a different color on top. Yeah, I like how we can turn, maybe I can turn mine down too. So you can, yeah, you guys can.
Yeah, so you've inspired me. I'm also gonna make a smaller one, and I'm actually, I don't have any more of the size of paper I was using, so I'm gonna use this little notebook paper because I just need a little of it anyway.
And so this is something my older daughter has started to write letters to her friends and send letters. And so I thought this was a fun activity to also include, to make, if you want to make gift cards, or if you want to make something where you can, besides just emailing, this is some way that to physically actually send your love. Nice.
I'm enjoying using
Patrick. That's amazing.
I'm using some
and so it would be really great
markers. I'm using a metallic marker to get that line, and then I'm putting it over a pastel. It's kind of cool.
So I just used the smaller one that I made. And then I don't know if you can see this, but for anybody else who is also here for Edwin's activity, I'm thinking about the story he was reading us about all the lines, and I kind of scribbled a little bit with pencil for the little one.
I like that. I'm gonna, Patrick, I like how the red is blending with the metallic on your heart. If you want to hold that up, yeah. So you can, yeah, I like the layering, and that's what's fun too. I thought about, like, if you want to play around with different colors, you know, yellow and red make orange, so you could put down a yellow, like almost what you've done, Patrick, with the yellow there and the orange markers. It starts to make, or the yellow and the red starts to make the orange. I'm going to do these small ones, and then I'm going to actually play around. Since we've been on stay-at-home orders, so you can see I'm going to pull this forward, and I'm literally just doing scribbling for time matters. So you get to see how the hearts, you start to have this layering. Nice. And so I'm actually going to pull out some food coloring. So since I've been the stay-at-home orders, I have fallen in love with playing with food coloring, like watercolors. I actually think they're better than watercolors. The color is better somehow. So what I've done is I have a plate. So let's have you guys nice. I have a plate here, and I put a little bit of blue food coloring onto it. I'm now gonna just put a little bit of water. So food coloring can be mixed like regular watercolor. This is like a porcelain plate. You can use whatever, if you want to use paper, something that will maybe just resist the water. And then I'm gonna pull these down. Let me pull this down. So with the smaller one, you see, you guys can see that. I'm now just going to take the brush and literally like brush lightly over it. And then I think I'm gonna hold that up for you guys to see too. So one thing about doing it, holding up, it will drip. But as a graffiti artist, I love drips, but some people don't. So with the little ones, so with watercolors and paint, I'm just nicely, lightly brushing paint on top.
Ooh. So here's what I did with my first watercolor.
Nice.
And then I'll also share another participant who, oh, you can't see it. Well, thank you for sending this in.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say if people can send them in, that would be great. That's one of the funnest things actually I really love about Family Affair is getting to see how everyone interprets the activities, and I'm always so inspired. It always blows my mind. So I'm now going to take, so I have the blue food coloring. I'm gonna add a little bit of red to make, I guess, purple, a purplish. Red is a pretty dominant pigment, so it's one of those pigments that is tricky to work with. I always say red takes a lifetime. And then, but I'm gonna go back now with the bigger. So this is like, you could make a whole bunch of different size hearts and shaped on different, so I have bigger one. I've made a whole bunch of these, and then I've actually done this one where I've done 3. And so maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna do a cheat with you guys and show you how to cut with this without doing freehand. And so we'll do that. Yeah, as I have all these papers.
Patrick has a little
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
What's that? Oh, beautiful. Oh my God, amazing. Yeah. And that's also, that ties into the theme so well, this idea of like, I just imagine like love floating around the world today. And I thought that it was really important that we send extra love around the world today. So I have these 3 hearts, and let me get another piece of paper roll. Yes.
So Kathleena, just so you know, it's just about 3:30.
Okay.
So we should be wrapping up.
All right.
Yeah, maybe just give some ideas for where people could take this if they want to keep working on it, but we can wrap up.
Yeah, so what I would say, and then, yeah, if you want to keep going on with it, I'll just move this up again so you can see that. I definitely need better lighting. So when you want to do 3, you could fold the paper.
Oh, cool.
Paper, and then draw the heart, cut it out. You can fold the paper again. Wherever you fold the paper, you can do it. And I'll just do that quickly, and then I'll leave you with that.
We have another comment. This was fun. Thank you, Lady K.
So thank you. Thank you for joining today on such a beautiful day. I wasn't sure who was gonna come.
Also, if anybody didn't hear this before, or maybe you didn't know, Lady K, but so we are recording this, and the different sessions will be available as art studio activities on our website. Also, if anybody is not aware, since we've been closed, we have been, and our wonderful educators have been making videos for art activities as well as guided tours of past exhibits at the museum. And you can check all of those videos out on our website, bronxmuseum.org. If you go, you'll see some familiar faces, such as Lady K making some, Aurelio and Edwin have all made them too. So
I made 3. It's kind of funny. It looks like a face, which I didn't intend.
It looks like a emoji.
Emoji, or like I was thinking, yes, with extra hearts. And so with that, again, you can come back and you can keep layering and layering and layering. This activity, you know, you could spend a good hour on doing this and getting it done and having fun with it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you, Nell. Thank you everybody for joining in today to our first family affair online.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just again, thank you everybody who came today to hopefully participate in some great art activities. We hope to be able to offer more of these, so stay tuned. And also we would love to hear your feedback, or if you have suggestions for other content and activities you'd like to see from us, you can email education@bronxmuseum.org.